morning. It's Tuesday, January 6th. It's 8:30. We're here for the WCRG regional meeting, or renewal meeting, excuse me. We're going to go into recess until Rob shows up here in a couple minutes. Thank you. Good morning. It's 8:31 and we're ready to go. Rob just got here, so we'll get this started. You guys like to introduce yourselves for us?
You bet.
My name is Lisa Holtroff. I'm the lead underwriter for the county school.
Thank you.
Rick Templeton, Vice President, Clear Risk.
Wes Crago, Director for the WCRG.
Jessica Temple, Pool Associate Director for WCRG.
Jen Hummer, I work with the PLP team.
Frank Andrus, I'm a Vice President over Services, Clear Risk.
Hayden Heston, Acrisure, broker representative.
Thank you. We'll turn it over to you.
Yeah, well, good morning. We didn't know exactly what format you would prefer. We are happy to just answer questions, or we have kind of a little bit of a short presentation we could provide and followed with questions, but we certainly wanted to make sure that we address any questions that the commissioners have. So I wanted to open that up first to see if you have any preference.
No, if you want to do your presentation first, that'd be great.
Okay, great. So I'll just give a brief overview. We did an introduction of our team here. Grant County's obviously a member of the Washington County's Risk Group and has been a member. It was a forming member actually in 1998. So joined with Lincoln in Stevens County in 98 at a time when insurance was in a hard market and it was difficult for counties to go out and secure insurance on their own. And so the three founding members came together with a kind of a shared mission of, okay, let's put together a pool that we can get insurance services and get insurance limits that we wouldn't be able to get on our individual basis. And it's served itself well over those 28 years. I was thinking about it this morning when I was driving to work. I've been with the company since 2003, so I've been almost there as long as the county's program's been together. But so I've been able to see it in its inner workings as far as, if a particular member has, say, a shock loss that would, in a traditional market, you have a big claim and you typically, without being part of a pool, it'd be, okay, well, that's your one claim. We'll pay this out and then send you on your way and you can go find another carrier. And I've seen time and time again with this pool in particular that, if a member has that, it's okay, well, we understand that there's going to be some shock losses or a claim or two that each county will have, but that's what it's built on, and everybody kind of absorbs the losses, and we move to the next year and have a good renewal and whatnot. And so that's the founding principle of the pool, and again, it's worked very well in that circumstance. It's actually grown from 3 to 10 members now. So we've got 10 of the 45 members or 45 counties in the state, and we try and keep it we're always looking for good members similar to Grant County that are interested in risk management and trying to protect the pool and trying to limit losses where possible. So always looking to see if we can get like-kind counties being similar size, structure, and again, risk management's our key goal. And so always trying to make sure that we're finding somebody that takes that seriously as well. So that's a little bit about the history of the program. We've had a great partnership again in those 28 years with Grant County and want to do everything possible. We obviously are here, although we would come anyways if we weren't put on notice by the county for the potential to leave or look for other carriers. I think we do this kind of yearly, come in and do it, but this one's a little bit different. And that's why we've got a little bit bigger group. I know that Wes and Jessica typically come every year to kind of talk about renewal, but this one's a little bit special in that we weren't anticipating, I guess, the notice. We understand why that was, that the county has that right to do that, but always had a really good relationship with the county. And so it was a little bit of a surprise this year because we, living in the same town and whatnot, typically we'd have a phone call or whatnot, and we got the letter. So we're wanting to make sure that we're doing everything possible to service the county. And so that's a main part of our meeting today. So we had Lisa here to talk a little bit about the renewal itself from the underwriting perspective, but wanted to, so do you want to go ahead and do the high level, and then if they want to get into anything in particular? Then...
Yeah, of course. So according to the 25-26 renewal worksheet that Grant County provided to us back in September via their broker, there was a few significant exposure changes that were indicated on that. The budget increased by 6%. Full-time employees increased by 5%. Full-time deputies increased by 12%. And full-time corrections officers increased by 19%. And then most significantly, as far as premium increases go, the worker hours increased by 17%. Worker hours are used to determine both the general liability and the wrongful acts line of premium coverages. It's a standard metric that's used by every county in the pool, so it's kind of a universal way of fairly determining their premiums. Grant County has a loss ratio as of 9/1 of 88%. On a positive note, looking back at the last 5 years of premiums, we are on a downhill trend. The 2025 increase was 14%, which is the lowest increase we've seen since 2021. Just yesterday, I was able to provide an indication or an estimate to Shane, who I didn't know was out at the time, for the new jail building additions. The approximate prorated amount with a 5/1 effective date is just over $400,000 with an annual estimated premium of $700,000.
And that's total cost coverage?
For the building.
So, why would we have to maybe do a total cost? The only way an entire building is gonna be lost is a bomb drops on it, right? It's a fully concrete steel building. What would be the proper way to insure it so the premium's lower? Have a lot higher deductible?
It's
cover everything, but then why?
The value of it doesn't have to be a total loss for the value to be a total loss. And if you had a fire, the smoke damage alone could make that a total loss and exceed. You're picking a number, but you think of like burned to the ground is the only way to get a total loss. There's a lot of ways to lose the whole building that don't involve the whole thing coming down.
And
So
that's for all 4 buildings. It also takes into account contents value that was provided to us as well.
The likelihood of that happening is very slim. We have a state-of-the-art fire suppression system. It is all enclosed. They're separate pods, so it's sectioned off. So one pod catches fire, it's going to stay in that one pod. So it's not going to be a complete loss.
I understand where you're coming from, but that I can, especially with our schools, can show you example after example. Things that are sprinklered, that's calculated into the.
But a school is way different than a jail where they're sectioned off. It's fire braked, completely different than a jail.
Is it solely based on square footage and value without doing an inspection of the property?
You're talking replacement costs.
Right.
Building costs.
Yeah.
$500 a square foot or $600 a square foot.
Yeah, that's what
whatever
it
it is now.
Exactly. There's the calculation. We don't, as I understand it, get into the granular detail of how a loss would occur. We have to ensure what happens if there's a loss.
We could also increase the deductible for that building because the likelihood of getting a complete complete loss of that building alone.
We increased deductibles last year.
No, but just for that building alone.
Could we do
There's
that
certain
just
things-
for that building though? Is that possible?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
That's something we
There's
can
things we can do for that building alone because it's the likelihood of being a complete loss for that
Well, I
building.
get that. I
So
get that.
we'll look into it. To lower it.
Go back to something you said earlier. Is WCRG only in Washington, or are you in Oregon, Idaho?
Just Washington.
Because you'd said 45 counties, so I didn't know if you were outside of Washington or not.
Hopefully I didn't misspeak on that. I thought there was 45 counties.
39.
Oh, I'm sorry. It was,
That's
Thank
why,
you.
that's why I asked.
Thank you for the
Maybe
correct-
you were in
I-
Idaho and Oregon too, so I wasn't sure.
It's
I
interesting
apologize.
right now, though, the number, I've been with the company on the city side of for a very long time. The interest we have in our program is kind of at an all-time high. We've had a lot of inquiries. Our chances of growing with the right counties are pretty high right now. A lot of different counties looking at us. I know that Shane has been busy. Some other brokers are talking to their counties and knocking on the door because they see what's going on here in our program and see the risk management philosophy paying off.
We're in a weird position, in my opinion. So I don't know what communications occurred prior to our increase, our increase this year, which was definitely a surprise to the county. It made it very difficult to get through budget. It was one of the things that really hurt us getting through budget. We don't know how to calculate for that. As the county grows, as the population grows, as more services are rendered, okay, now we don't know how to grow. We feel like WCRG has capped our growth because we don't want another December surprise. So what metric do we use? How many employees can we hire? And what's that cost per employee when it comes to you guys so that we can tell a department head, guess what? That's going to be an insurance hit at the end of the year, so you can't hire. That's one of the metrics we now have to look at when we don't know an increase like this is coming. And it really hurts us.
Yeah, I know that Cindy obviously is on the ground floor of all of that going forward. I mean, she's a part of the discussions that when the board passed the budget, but we put out we do a 6-month estimate in 1st of June, give or take, we get the numbers. But this is where we see increases going. Last year, that was, I think we shot it between 7 to 12. In September, we do another email, and that was a little tighter. It was like 7 to 10. And then we passed the budget in the middle part of September at the board retreat. It's all open public meetings. And then we issue another email alert. And the lowest, we put out, the board puts out a budget of 4%. And then Lisa takes the 4% and looks at the exposures that you gave us on your application and then apportions that out according to the formulas.
And maybe that's what I'm looking at. I'm trying to figure out how the sausage is made in the background, right?
Right.
So because what I guess one of the things I want to ask you guys for is I need some kind of a metric on paper as the new administrator. When people are talking to me about growing their departments, I have to be able to look at a metric and say, well, this department's got 1 person, this department's got 3 persons, 3 people, corrections wants to hire 11. What chart do I have that says, once I get to 5 people, my insurance rate goes? Because that's how this feels. Once I hire 5 people, I go up 1%. If I go up 7 people, I go up 1.6%. Is there something in the background that you guys are using in your formula that does that can be shared so we understand and we can plan?
Do you guys cap it at a certain percent? Because it's going to be to a point where it's going to be financially irresponsible for us.
Well,
Because it's getting to the point where we can't grow anymore, where we have to lay people off.
it's all of our counties, in fact, our cities and schools, everybody that's growing is experiencing what you are. It's not unique to Grant County. The metrics generally are worker hours and FTEs, budget, depending on what you're looking at, and then your value, total value of all the property that the county has. And each one of those goes up. That's when we purchased the insurance for the counties in December, we pay for the whole year up front. That's what we're charged. That's what the insurance industry as a I think globally, but at least nationally for certain, they look at worker out, all the things that are on that application, and then we have to pay that, and then we bill that back to you. We can probably easily put together a quick metric of, okay, an FTE is about this much on this. That could change by next renewal because what the market does and what the market charges us, but we could put that together. The other thing is Tom, just call us. And when we're working on the budget early August, starting to put numbers together, we'll give you, I mean, if you don't like quote us, I'll give you where we think the crystal ball is going to land. We're always pretty conservative. We've definitely outperformed our estimates for the last 5 or 6 years. But these exposures are where people get bit.
You understand where we're coming from here.
Oh, sure.
How this is affecting us.
I've been in your shoes for,
And absolutely, if I might jump in really quick too, and one thing Blair said about the cap, and I agree, right? You would get to a certain point where you're saying it's not, it's prohibitive to bring people on. I think the piece to understand too, though, is that Wes talked about that insurance that's purchased at the beginning of the year. There's additional charges for every single one of those that are added on that come to there. So the WCRG is experiencing additional expense to them for every FTE that's done. So if we were to cap it and stop it, essentially then you'd be stopping that piece. We'd be putting the county's program in a situation where it couldn't be viable. So just for understanding that purpose. Now, absolutely for getting some metrics together and there, we can do that. And happy to work with you on that. We've already been throwing there on some ideas too around this growth thing and how we could maybe address it and things that might help. So certainly happy to work with those in the future.
We don't have any extra revenue coming in. We have people coming in, but we don't have revenue coming in. So.
Tom, have you discussed with them the new coroner's office as far as square footage and all that?
Yeah, we have another 11 to 13,000 square foot building coming in Moses Lake. So yeah, it'll be new construction.
I mean, I want to applaud you all, the work you're doing. The loss ratio 5 years ago was not good at the county. You experienced a lot of frequency and you had some really ugly ones that were also of high value. That is coming down. 88% doesn't sound great right now, but in context of 5 or 6 years, I mean, you're doing all the right things as a group of commissioners, as the staff, and hiring Blair to do risk management certainly, I think, is going to pay off in the long run. But I mean, the fact when you're growing, that when I buy a newer car and it has a higher value, my insurance company charges me more that year. That's just the way it works.
Yeah, and this is Cindy. I just want to jump in. Clear Risk has been very transparent about the increase. I think we just didn't realize on our application that we really hadn't updated all of our employees accurately, the hours, and that's kind of what got us. So I think that's where the surprise was, that increase. But you guys have been very transparent. Blair knows, I know, Shane knows, what that increase was because you knew it. So we shared it with the board. It was just that increase, that the dynamics of it that really bumped it up.
It was the worker hours that was the big one because
Yeah.
I was figuring under 10%.
Okay.
So I was figuring this be under, because you said 4% and I was figuring under 10% for us. And when we got hit with 14, that was a lot higher than we were expecting. Again,
There were some other counties that also are experiencing growth and also built a new jail, were much higher. We don't want to give you sticker shock. As much as we can avoid that, call us ahead of time. It might be an estimate, but we'll give you what we know and try to run the numbers for you to see, okay, it looks like with what you put on your application, this is what we kind of see, and give you a little heads up preview, whatever you want to call it, so that you don't experience that, or at least you can plan for it and apportion that increase out to different cost centers that you have. We're not an insurance company. We're a pool, and it gives us a lot of flexibility. We want to work with you and bend and flex. And I mean, Frank mentioned it early on, an insurance company, you get a bad claim, you're gone. They drop you in a heartbeat. we're kind of the opposite side of it, that we're here forever and we want the pool to be here forever. We want you to be a forever member of our pool. We'll work with you to find what we can do. Are there creative solutions? Yeah, we're willing to do those. Kind of like when the red wine claim, we had the harrow bed versus the car, and they went after the county for negligent road design on a perfectly fine rural flat area. That could have exceeded coverage. That could have put the taxpayers at risk, but the pool, the rest of the members bound together to support the county, to support grant. And that's how a pool works. There are times everybody goes through it. The pool comes together and supports one another and got you through that. And that was one of my proudest moments of being able to watch the commissioners on the board of the WCRG come together to support Grant County. They didn't let you guys hang out there, put your taxpayers at risk. Next year, it'll be somebody else, maybe.
What's Clear Risk doing at the legislative level to try and push back on some of the laws that are coming out, some of the bills, even in this session, that will affect counties?
Yeah, and I'll kind of lead off and you can hop in there, but we've got one of our staff members is that's what they ride shotgun on. We're a member of two coalitions. We, as a group of pools, partner to have two lobbyists. Our reinsure companies, the companies we buy insurance from, are also funding some of that. We're active member of the Legislative Reform Coalition. I think I've got that right. And then when we have legislation ready to go, we take it to WASAC and to the other county organizations. The county commissioners by far have the most juice in Olympia. We sort of are insurance professionals and looked down upon. City people, a little bit better, but county commissioners are fellow elected officials. They do well when we need to lobby. And our group has been great at stepping up to do those things when there's a specific bill.
When there's been a specific bill, and I don't know if you've got one this year or not, but if there has been a specific bill, have you reached out and set up meetings with the county commissioners to ask for their support and ask for department heads to either go to Olympia or call or work with their legislators or other legislators?
Every time we have a specific bill. Some of the stuff that we've been working on is trying to be a little more offensive rather than defensive, of trying to roll back. The biggest ones are joint and several, that we tried to sponsor legislation to put some reasonable caps on that. And that's a tough beat in Olympia, but that's what we're doing.
So we're gonna be rolling out a new jail. How is that gonna look for us with you guys if we are able to get outside medical? I think that's kind of, we're talking about doing that and not have just our typical nurses that we have in the jail right now.
Maybe contracted medical services, so they would take on all liability.
Would that help us?
That would help you. I mean, specifically, we'd have to look at it and dig in. That'd be kind of on the underwriting side. But yes, in general, that's going to help.
Okay.
100%.
Anybody have anything else?
No, I think we have to, as we're kind of looking at our future, looking at our building plans, our however we're expanding, whether it's by personnel or by buildings, by program, I think that we have to find a way to get you more involved early so we understand what the impact is. Coroner's office is a good example of that, right? We're getting ready to have our pre-application meeting on the 15th with the city of Moses Lake. And we need to start talking to you guys about what that's going to look like.
We love that on every level. The early, doesn't matter if it's a claim or if it's your bills or anything, the earlier we can communicate, we're all about that. There's a long list of schools and cities and others that have gone out for a bond and they didn't calculate M&O on their new building. And we try to, don't forget about insurance on your brand new building. All that needs to be calculated.
What about, so when our sheriff occupies the new jail in June, May, that ends up being. Half of that building is going to be empty. We're going to gracefully shut down half of the HVAC, half the electrical, and we're only going to be using it a little bit until we figure out what to do. Is a building like auto insurance where you can put some of it in suspension or anything like that? I mean, I don't know. What is there any opportunity there even for a short-term reduction?
Possibly.
Yeah, I think we should definitely look
Yeah.
into that, yeah. So again, the communication piece, I think if we're working together in those things and looking at it, you know, we can see what we can do there, yeah. Because there's some ways that we could trigger some different things or change the coverage that could get some reductions there. So we'd love to work with you on that.
Is Shane the person we should be working with on that, or is it somebody else, or?
Yes, and then we'll pull, yeah, I mean, we'll get Shane, get us involved. I mean, really, we look at it as kind of team working together, but of course, Shane being your, you know, agent representatives, it would be Shane first.
And Shane knows how to get a hold of us. I mean, it's, again, you're well served by proximity. I mean, we treat all of our counties the same. We fight for their business every year, but the fact is, we all have relationships that go way beyond just our jobs. And it's easy for us to get the word to you and for you to get the word to us and for Shane to get a hold of us. And it makes, it's a special, unique relationship.
Just out of curiosity, I don't know if it is or not, is the PUD one of your clients?
No, yeah, they're separate. There is a pool of power districts, but we're just counties, cities, nonprofits, schools.
Anything else?
Claire?
Nothing else for me?
Rob? No. Okay. I guess we're going to recess. It's 8:56.
Anything else?
Recess until 9.
Anything else from you guys at all?
We'll be scheduling another drop by probably mid-year, kind of talk, see how things are going. In the meantime, though, I know Blair scheduled a presentation with us. We'll be back for that. But if there anything ever comes up, just give us a quick call or walk across the street and knock on the door. You know, we'll be there for you.
Sorry, didn't mean to step on either.
No, I appreciate that. Feel free anytime. Well, thank you guys for coming in. We appreciate it.
Thank you for your time.
Recess until 9 o'clock. Good morning, it's 9:01 and we're here for our consent agenda review work session.
Which one?
Well, I was wondering about that fund for the travel fund.
Yeah.
Are we gonna need to hold that until we get that figured out? Or what is it?
Yeah, probably.
What are your thoughts, Tom?
Which one was that?
Holding the travel fund creation.
Travel fund creation.
I would hold it until we talk to the prosecutor and find out, yeah. And I know I did send an email yesterday, so in 2025, travel was approved for Kevin and Abel and Chris and Jeff Hughes to go to the AHR Expo in Vegas in February. So they just put in their advanced travel deal. It's going to go into a batch this week. I emailed Mandy and gave her a heads up, so that was kind of already approved. But I think, I think you should have the prosecutor weigh in and see if we can. I mean, and again, I understand the intent of it.
Right, we don't,
See what Brandon has to say.
we don't wanna do something that's gonna create more problems.
No, correct.
And I kind of just feel like some of these things are, like number 6 is crazy expensive for, 2026. I don't see a lot of gain from stuff like that.
Rob, is number 6 a truly creative one? Which one was number 6?
Yeah, that's what it was. Just like $8,000 to be in a scenic Washington travel guide. I don't know.
I think we'd be better off to do what we were.
Online marketing where, yeah, everybody's gonna be searching if they're looking for something to do. But
Well, I mean, I think for that, we'd be better off to
need to see the ad.
work with,
Is the ad included or just the invoice?
It's just that.
Dang, that's a spendy van, huh? What's it do?
I wonder if they use it for transporting clients.
I assume that's what it is.
Can I go back to travel for just a second?
Yeah.
So I received an email from Susie earlier this week. And she had an immediate request, point of clarification on the travel. If we have appointments for clients that involve travel in-state and perhaps overnight stays, will that require BOCC approval? They had a client in need of a medical appointment in Seattle this Friday through Sunday, and the client will need assistance for advocacy and transportation. And I had responded to that.
Hey, Tom, they're outside of current expense, so that doesn't matter.
That's kind of what I told her. So, thank you, Cindy.
That's all grant funded too, isn't it? First responder training, is that?
Yeah.
Happens, being on the right grants. Or do we want to hold that, or
Which one?
this? First responder training.
No, I mean, I'm good with it. I look more at that, for when an issue does come up, then we can halt. I don't really look at today as the halt for me.
Yeah, well, and I think this is important. Cindy, do you have anything for consent agenda items, or
I do not.
Any walk-ons?
no walk on?
All right. I have nothing. Which one are we holding? Number 2?
I guess we need a motion to approve the agenda for today.
Later.
Later.
We're good.
We're
Let's
good.
recess.
Jumping the gun. Okay, I guess it's 9:08. We'll recess until 9:30 at the prosecutor's office. Good morning, it's 9:30, January 5th, or January 6th, excuse me, I'm a day off. We're for the prosecuting attorney's office update. Good morning.
Good morning, Commissioners. I believe to get started, we're going to have Carl Waring coming in remotely, and this is going to be one of the matters that I am going to be conflicted on. I believe they're going to want to go into an executive session as well, so I'm going to excuse myself to do that. Once that's done, I'll come back in and complete the remainder of the prosecuting attorney's update.
Okay, fair enough. Sounds
Do
good.
you
Thank
need
you.
me excused from this meeting?
I don't know what it's about. I am here just in case we need someone from the prosecutor's office. Carl, is it a problem if Tom stays?
County administrator.
No, I mean, it shouldn't be. Everybody's covered by the privilege, and of course, confidentiality will continue to apply.
Okay, perfect.
Okay. So we'll go into executive session for how long? How long do you think you'll need? 10 minutes?
I'll defer to you, Carl.
15 minutes?
I'm sorry, I couldn't quite pick up what was being said.
How long do you think we'll need for the executive session?
Oh, thank you. Gosh, unless you anticipate a lot of questions, I would say 10 minutes.
10 minutes, okay. We're gonna go into executive session for 10 minutes for backside. Possible litigation?
I think so.
Yes, litigation update.
That's RCW 42.30.110 for 10 minutes. We'll come out at 9:41.
Government
Okay,
entities to be her
Okay,
clients.
it's 9:41.
So I just don't know if
Executive
she would
session,
want
no
to do
decisions
something
were made.
where there's high odds of litigation. I think she prefers to be more in-house. I'm gonna grab Trevor.
Welcome back.
Yes.
I'll just stay since I'm here.
All right. So I first want to start off with, we did send over an updated contract list to the commissioners this morning. I don't know that I've had a chance to review it in detail. We've got a couple of contracts that are going back and forth with counsel on the other side that we're trying to work through some details. Those are the ones that are lingering on. But all in all, contracts are still moving through the office at a reasonable pace. If there's any specific items with that the commissioners may have questions on, I'd be happy to address those at this time.
I didn't have any.
No, not today.
Okay. Couple of things that I did want to bring up. I did receive an email from Mr. Darrell Pheasant regarding the penny issue that is going on and the inability to get circulation in on those. I did want to posit it to the commissioners to perhaps reach out to any legislative, what is the word I'm looking for? Lobbyist that may be able to assist in perhaps getting a resolution within this on how to address it as far as rounding and not being able to provide exact change and everything else. Currently working through, some issues on how to address it on the tax issues, but there is the potential for other departments that may take in payments that may not be able to provide exact change and what to do with that situation. And so to the extent it's not on everyone's radar, at least let's start thinking about it. And I haven't seen anything as of yet. There hasn't been a lot of guidance that's on it. And so it would be helpful if we could get guidance rather than trying to tread the water ourselves, would be my preference.
We have stores in Spokane now that won't take pennies and they won't give pennies. They'll just round up, give you a nickel.
And that may work in the private context, but we do have some statutes and whatnot that as far as accounting and profit sharing partners and revenue sharing partners, not profit, that are going to want their share. And so it's going to be the question of who's going to be left holding the bag. And so, again, it's more or less just to get everyone starting to think about it, work it through, because it's going to be something that we're going to have to address, but we don't have anything here at this point in time. So to the extent that have a lobbyist partner that might be able to get some legislative fix, even at the state level, that might be helpful to start exploring. And we're not the only county that's going through this issue, but I did want to bring it to the attention of the commissioners at this time. Beyond that, I don't have much else this morning unless there's anything specific that I haven't addressed.
Not today. Holiday kind of made things slow. We're waiting on the opinion, I think from Brandon or maybe you guys, for just our travel fund creation.
Okay.
So other than that, I don't have anything. I don't know when we'll get that opinion back.
Has Brandon shared that with you guys, and has there been any discussion on that yet that you're aware of?
Not that I'm aware of.
Me personally, no, but I'm certainly happy to follow up with that. And so we can perhaps be in a posture to have an update either at the next commissioner update or have an update as to when that might be finalized.
That would be a priority.
Yeah, that's probably our top priority at the moment.
Okay.
We're just working on creating a travel fund in order to kind of regulate when we can do it. If we can't afford it as a county, then we can restrict it. However, it is in some elected officials' budgets already, so once it's budgeted, technically they can do whatever they want. So.
And just in case no one's looked into this, who did you tell and
Brandon.
via what means? Verbally, email?
I think verbally and email.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
he's
there's an
even-
email
he's
he
been
can
on
go
the
find to
emails
get
also.
details? Okay,
Yeah,
great.
he knows, yeah.
Perfect.
Follow up with that.
Fabulous. That'll just make it easier to find it.
Back to the contract list very quickly. I know prior to Christmas, I had an update with Swahil at Youth Services about the MOU with the WSP. She thought it was going to be done by Christmas, but then she knew then it wasn't going to get done. Do you know if there's movement?
Comments will go out this morning.
Oh, okay.
Just finalizing it. There's specific to that issue, there is the Keep Washington Working Act that's tied up within that, and there is currently the Adams County case that involved the Keep Washington Working Act is going up on appeal out of Spokane County Superior Court. There was an order denying the motion to dismiss out of that court case. I don't have the cause number directly in front of me, but it's going up on appeal at this point in time. So
let's dive into that a little bit. How is this MOU with the WSP tied in with the Keep Washington Working Act? Is that putting the county or the commissioners in a position where they have to?
It is a breach of the contract to share any information gathered from the WSP. So it's directly tied into it. It's like 1093, 160 is the RCW. And so going through and reviewing that, seeing the status of that lawsuit and whatnot, trying to gather as much information to be able to formulate an opinion on that. But I should have comments going out on that this morning.
Yeah, that's curious. Yeah, so I've had a number of conversations. Last year, the state they appropriated over $150 million for law and justice funding for prosecutors, public defenders, courts, officers. If you can't access that, they conditioned that grant on commissioners signing a resolution for that Keep Washington Working Act and being a sanctuary county, basically. So nobody's been willing to do that. Nobody will touch those funds, and they're just sitting there. So it's just curious. And very briefly, I sent an email to Mandy, asked her if we could open up a help desk with the SAO regarding how counties are dealing with the loss of pennies in circulation, whether we should round up or down. She goes, yes, good question. If you don't mind, I'll ask legal if they are okay with me asking MRSC as well. It's just a general question. So anyway.
Yeah, I think that as far as the penny issue and whatnot, I think it's an ever-changing thing, and I don't know that anyone has a great answer here at this point in time until we have either a legislative fix that's clearly going to define how things are going. I think the concern is we don't want to be the ones left holding the bag on.
Well, it might be good just to get I mean, I'm sure other people, we're not the only ones asking the questions. So.
I have seen some comments, I believe it was from the FTC, I could be wrong upon that, on rounding that was essentially 1, 2, and anyways, 1, 2 and is rounds down, 4, 3 and 4 round up to 5, 5 and 6 round down to 5, 7, 8, 9 round up. So it was just kind of a way to round up the nickel and the penny and whatnot. It's kind of an interesting fix that's on it to round to the nearest nickel. That was one suggestion that was out there, but we don't have any guidance as to, how they're going to resolve
Somebody's
it.
getting rich on this deal. You know what I mean? That's a big margin.
And that's what Trevor's worried about. That's why he keeps saying, who's holding the bag? That's exactly the bag that we're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Literally, your 2 cents?
100%.
So what are you saying? We should buy some penny stocks because then it's going to become a nickel stock?
Yeah, I mean, I guess, have it with that, but again, it's, something that I think we need to address and kind of look through and whatnot, and trying to research what other entities are doing, and hopefully we can get some guidance on it that, we don't have to forge ahead on it.
Well, my question is what is the state auditor gonna do? Because, they audit your books and you're off, how are they gonna handle that? Obviously, you're not gonna be right on because you're going up or down on a penny.
Yeah, I mean, to the extent that you're rounding 100%, and then that I can see the potential accounting nightmare going, okay, this is why it's down. We rounded down because of X, Y, Z, and all the other stuff. And so that's something that we need to start thinking about and addressing, whatnot. I don't think that it's at the point where we can't do it right now, as far as what I understand, but it's coming. So we'll have to.
It may be that the state will make a uniform decision, and then once we have that, the county can then make its own uniform decisions. Like, maybe accounting decides that all numbers originating from county books will be rounded at the beginning to avoid the accounting nightmare at the end. I don't know if that's a fix. I'm not a numbers person. That's why I went to law school. There's a reason. But all that to say, once we have state level guidance, I think Mandy will then have more ability to figure out what's going to work.
I don't understand why the state auditor's office wasn't involved to begin with, or the feds. I mean, how are they handling it when this came about?
I don't know. I think it was a federal decision, and that's why perhaps the state auditor's office was not aware. I don't know how much notice they had. Yeah.
You said it cost 3 cents to make a penny. Why are we doing that? So
I
I
think we're all in the same boat across the board as to here's where we're at now. What do we do with it?
And we might look to what Europe did, because they got rid of their penny quite a long time ago. That action was very much in line with international standards. So we might, perhaps the feds will look to other countries, and then we can all model trickle down from there.
And also got a $5 coin. Those things when you hand that to somebody and they hand you a
That's cool though. As a kid, I would have loved a $5 coin. I don't know why. It seems fancy, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Anyway, I digress.
All right. Anybody else got anything? Cindy, you got anything? It's 9:53. We'll go into recess until. Okay, it's 10 o'clock. We are in for human resources update.
Morning.
Call the order. Do we need an open forum for public input? 3 minutes per person, 15-minute time limit? No, it's 5 minutes. Excuse me, I'm looking at the wrong one. 5-minute limit, open forum for public comment. Do you have anybody online?
You have 4 call-in users. One is Carrie and one is Barb. They do not have public comment. So Alice, and we have a guest. I've given you the ability to unmute if you have any human resources related comments.
Hearing none, we will move on.
Okay. Item 2, labor relations. I don't have any updates for you today. Item 3, application, employee evaluation. I was going to ask for an executive session. I'm not going to do that now, but I will tell you that the investigation that Gina has been working on out of the clerk's office has been finalized, and she is putting together a final report, and we'll bring it back next week for you. Nothing for personnel disciplinary matters. Number 5, position management. There's been a lot of questions about the hiring freeze. I know that it was for current expense. I just want to clarify with the board that non-current expense offices or departments can bring forward positions through PMR. Is that?
Yes.
Okay. Cindy said yes, Rob's nodded.
Yeah.
Okay.
What about current expense that have vacant positions that still need to be filled? Can they bring them to PMR on a one-on-one?
I believe so, yeah.
Okay. So currently any positions from 2025 that were posted and being recruited for, those we are just going to bring through just like we were. We will hire those. But if there are positions that coming up in 2026, you want,
Just bring them through.
bring them through?
PMR,
Okay.
Just to check on.
All of them or just
Yeah.
ones that departments or offices feel like they absolutely have to have? Because that's the intent of the hiring freeze, right? Is to decrease the spend. And one of the ways to do that is to not backfill.
Yeah.
So how will the board decide what to backfill and what not to backfill?
Typically, the department head or elected official will let us know that this is a critical position, or if this position can be, some of the duties can be absorbed. I think it's just case by case that all positions will be different.
I would bring them all through.
I would agree.
Yes, I agree to bring them all through.
Positions, okay. Well, that will keep PMR busy.
Does that also, that doesn't include like contract attorneys that Brett finds for the public defender's office or anything like that, right?
No.
He's got kind of free reign to get those hired if he finds them since he's short, right?
Correct.
And if they're staying on top of their requested positions,
Yeah.
PMR shouldn't hold them up at all.
Yeah.
And if they need it, they're gonna get it.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, having PMR scheduled the day before the HR meeting has really helped get things through much quicker rather than what it originally was, where it would be a week later.
Every week when Brett puts in his department head report, one of the things he says is his challenge is ensuring the board is quick at helping him decide that he can hire a contract attorney. And I keep thinking about that. Why do you put that every week? You know, the contract attorneys are a little bit different.
Yeah.
And if you get the opportunity to hire one, you should by all means be doing that.
Right.
Has he expressed concern too?
That's the first I've heard it. I mean, it would.
It's on the department head updates. But I'll talk to him about it.
Okay.
Yeah, we probably should let him know that.
I think some of that is he's just saved it to the template
Oh, and it hasn't been struck through.
and it hasn't been changed. Well, I think I'll just leave that out there.
I do believe, just a minute, I do believe he had one attorney that was working that we did have to consult and talk to our legal about, and I wondered if that was the case.
He has one that has just provided notice, and part of his notice was to abandon his cases. So he's, and this was just this last week, so he's struggling to get that taken care of and shuffle the deck a little bit. He has another person that he might be able to get hired on. So I was gonna go talk to him about it today, but yeah, it was kind of a surprise to him that this guy would just abandon his cases.
Well, and in the contract, I do believe that they're supposed to finish out their contract, the cases. So, yeah, I think we're covered there.
We, in one of the CAB meetings, he did discuss the DRS issue.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that's been resolved within the contract with the PA's office,
I
but you
think
might want to chat with him about that. Because that, the DRS, Department of Retirement Services, says that per his contract, they should be regular full-time employees. And so I think that that is still an open issue.
I think.
I
it is,
haven't heard
yeah.
any resolution
And
to
that
it
would
yet.
have quite the financial impact, on a number of attorneys, right?
It could.
Yeah.
It could, but you may have, it may benefit the county to have them full-time regular.
Yeah.
As well, so.
Yeah, in our best lawsuit, I believe we have to have like conflict attorneys or outside attorneys, so that's why they are not in-house attorneys. So I think there's a little more to it than just bringing them all in-house.
I'll follow up with them and see where the PAO's office is on it too, so I know that they were looking at it.
Yeah, and that's where I had left it, was with the
Yeah.
PAO's office. Yep. Okay. Compensation, number 6, compensation connections. Wanted to give you an update on where we're at on that. We have completed or are very close to completing the job descriptions. We just have a couple hanging out there. But the next phase will be is benchmark job list, comparable organization list, and FSLA list. We have held 30 project team meetings. We've reviewed 300 job descriptions and 11 job content questionnaires. So that's what we use to build new job descriptions that didn't have job descriptions. Organized jobs into the 10 job families, consolidated approximately 80 jobs, and returned 220 revised job descriptions. So we're making great progress. They have provided us, the committee, with communication strategies and the job content questionnaire again, job description template, multi-level template, and job description template with instructions for departments. So remaining project items they will go into the market research, compile and analyze data. They will provide a recommendation for a salary structure or pay placement, recognition and reward guidance, and review FSLA assessments on up to 100 positions. I don't know that we'll have that many that they need to review, but they could. And then at the end, they will make recommendations and provide a report to the board on that. One decision I do need from the board today is an approval of the comparable organizations. So in our meetings, we've talked about, over the last 30 meetings, we've talked about comparables. They have looked at the market as well, and they have the same comparables that we have used. That's what they came up with. So Benton, Chelan, Clallam, Cowlitz, Franklin, Lewis, Skagit. We did remove Island County, but the one that we are questioning that we'd like board guidance on is Walla Walla. That has been historically part of us, and they will do up to 8. So just wondering if the board wants to continue using Walla Walla or not.
If I remember right, there was quite a difference in Walla Walla and the rest of those comparables, right? I mean, they were all fairly close, but Walla Walla was kind of an outlier.
It was an outlier.
So
up or down?
Down.
I think their population is down. There's a lot of dry land in Walla Walla, and I don't think they have the industry that we have. So it is, I think the pay scale.
I must have lost her.
Trying to get their population, 62,000.
Yeah.
So almost half.
And if you want time to think
So
about.
I'm okay not using Walla.
Thank you.
Did I
Cindy.
come through?
You did.
Yes, you did. Thank you.
So remove Walla Walla.
Two, are you in agreement with Cindy then?
I'm okay with that, yeah.
Okay. So that would leave 7 comparables. Do you want us to attempt to find a replacement so you have a full 8, or are you comfortable with 7?
I don't think it's necessary. I mean, if you got 7 that are pretty close, I think that's probably.
I think we're okay with a 7. I think we beat up that list pretty good on that last meeting that I was in, so.
Yeah, we did. Okay, well, thank you for that decision. So hopefully this week they will be providing us a list of benchmark positions, which they think that the main focus of the study will be on. And so I have a handout for the board to review about benchmark positions. So when we come back with that list next week to review with you, you kind of know what that definition is of benchmark positions and how they are used in a comparable study. And Cindy, I will leave this on your desk for you. Nothing really to do with it in today's meeting, just wanted to provide that to you. And again, that meeting will be on Wednesday. I'll meet with them and hopefully they'll have that list prepared. And I will review it with them and then bring it back to the board for review.
This Wednesday or next Wednesday?
I will meet with them this Wednesday and I'll bring it back next Tuesday.
Okay.
If they are ready for me to do so. Okay. Item number 7, I don't have anything for you. Item number 10, I do have a sick leave donation request. The board did decide to remove the sick leave donation from policy. However, that policy has not been updated and signed as of yet. So I feel obligated to bring this forward since we do have the old policy still inactive. The person in my review does meet the requirements per policy for this. She has used all of her, and this is out of the assessor's office, she's used all of her sick leave, annual leave, comp time, well, she will as of today. And she has used FMLA and PFML. She's on the end of her treatment. So they are asking for 100 hours, 100 donated hours that will get her through her last couple of treatments. And then hopefully she will be, with those treatments, she will be able to return back to work. So my recommendation is for the board to approve this under the current policy. And I will stamp this.
How does that work? Other people donate their sick leave? Is that how that works?
Yes, the clerk of the board sends out the notice and then other people then will donate however many hours.
Okay.
They have to keep so many, but then can donate the hours through payroll. And payroll keeps the list of who is donated.
Okay.
Cindy, any concerns from that one?
Yes, I'm okay with that.
Thank you. And that is what I had for you.
Short and sweet.
Yes. Does the board have anything for me today?
No. I don't have anything. Cindy, you got anything?
No, thank you for all your help. Oh, I do have something, Kim Allen, she just wants to make sure when you're doing the clerk, district court versus superior court, clerk that you know, make sure we're addressing superior and not district when we're looking at their jobs. I just want to.
Yes, they are special and unique. We are addressing it. In fact, we've had 2 meetings with Kim and Desiree together. We'll be meeting again. So we're all working very collaboratively to ensure that a clerk is a clerk is a clerk, but separated. The same, but different.
I appreciate it. Yes.
Superior.
We're all equal, but some are more equal than others.
So it's been very collaborative. And we will continue to do so. It's just very different. The job descriptions are getting away from, it is a purposeful move to get away from task-based job descriptions, and that is different. And so it is sometimes hard to wrap your mind around not having tasks in the job description, but really that should be the responsibility of the supervisor to provide the tasks and for each position. And as I've explained, a clerk is a clerk is a clerk. They do clerk work, but the tasks behind that may be very different in district court compared to superior court. So it's just it's a mind shift. So
makes sense.
But they're both providing great insight, and we'll get it taken care of. But thank you, Cindy.
Yeah, I did let her know that we were streamlining all those, and you, explained it very well. So thank you.
Yep, thank you.
Thanks, Cindy. I guess we'll go into recess. It's 10:18. We'll go into recess until 11 o'clock. Good morning. It's 11 o'clock. We're going to start our commissioners meeting. Call the meeting to order. Open forum for public input, 3 minutes per person, 15-minute time limit. We have drama in the audience, no comment. Anybody online?
You have 3 call-in users. One is Barb and one is Carrie. They have said they have no public comment. And we have Alice. Alice, I've given you the ability to unmute if you have any public comment.
I move to approve the agenda as presented.
I'll second.
There's been a motion and a second to approve the agenda. Any more discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Motion passes to approve the agenda. On to correspondence, any emails received that need response, letters of support. Glenn, you got anything?
Barb sent over that letter this morning. It's in regards to purchasing tax title. I'm not sure if you want to address that now or.
Do we?
I'm looking for it.
Didn't you say that you thought, she said she was gonna be here at 11, potentially?
Potentially, but
Who's that?
it is from Miriam.
Oh, Marion, yeah. Well, she's not here and public comment has closed, so till next time.
Move on. I don't have any letters of response or any support or any letters to address myself, so move on to the commissioners roundtable.
Just reminder, stuff tour is canceled today.
And then we're gonna hold item number 2, is that correct? Be holding item number 2 for the travel funds, creating a new fund for travel funds. We're gonna hold that for this week till next week.
Okay. So no other things?
Nothing else that I have. Cindy, do you have anything else
No, I have nothing else. Everything looks really good.
All right, then I move to approve consent agenda items 1 through 15, holding item number 2 until we're able to discuss with the prosecuting attorney as presented.
I'll second.
have a Motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
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 Okay, motion carries. We're gonna move on to the consent agenda. Sign the consent agenda.
Cindy, are we good to stamp your name?
Yes, please stamp my name. Thank you.
Technically, Kevin should be signing first now.
Would you like, okay. You're holding item 2 for 1 week or?
Yeah.
This is the invoice to Washington Association of County Officials.
You're the big man now.
I'm just used to signing the top.
This is the surrender of leasehold for the, yes.
Oops.
That'd be nice to have that on.
There we go.
So not that one, page before. That page is for me.
Notary page.
Yep, page prior. Yeah. Not that one.
Yeah.
Oh. I have to print it out again. LTAC grant agreements.
What have you been up to?
Not much, just hanging out at the house.
Not a lot of gardening right now.
Well, I made my last strawberry about 2 weeks ago.
Request to purchase the ad.
Still have a few leaks in the ground.
Special occasion liquor license. I definitely missed a flag on that, but you'll sign on that page.
Started baking sourdough bread.
Started like practicing.
Yep.
Did you get a good batch?
Yeah.
Everybody says it's pretty easy. I've never done it.
There's a lot of steps you gotta be aware of.
And I've always wanted to do sourdough pizza crust.
You'll get good with
bring you
it.
some
The
starter
update of the
next
grievance form.
Huh?
I'll bring you some starter next week.
Yeah, I'd be down to try it out. One of my friends makes it all the time, but it's always like, I'll give you a loaf, and she never does. Somebody I know has starter from, I guess you can have it forever, like a really long time. I didn't know
As
that.
long as you keep it alive.
Yeah, theirs was from somewhere else and like super old.
Reimbursement request from McKay
You actually
Healthcare.
go online and buy starters, real old starter, like 500-year-old starter.
That's crazy.
This is in-state travel for Rebecca Kaler.
Does the starter change the flavors?
Potentially it can.
Professional services agreement, public defense.
It's an active lactobacillus. What would you call it? I don't know. It's whatever's in here around you. I'm gonna start another one with some grape must.
How do you hold it?
The agreement with the Alfredo
Just keep it in a
landfill.
jar in your fridge.
USDA.
That's short term, you can Dehydrated. Stored for years, dehydrated, then rehydrate it and feed it again, and it goes again.
How do you feed it?
Mixture of water and flour.
I think it's easier if you do it by weight than by measurements
Yeah.
when it comes to feeding them. So if you have a food scale.
Interesting. Maybe give it a go.
So request to purchase a vehicle for Renew,
I mean, the van,
the van.
a big old van. Still trying to figure out what transport people and employees.
It's your out-of-state travel request. Was it just travel or was it travel and registration that's moved to the new travel
Registration
fund?
is.
Like registration for,
I think it's the travel part of it. Of course, we can't travel to it, we can't spend the money, correct? Or it shouldn't.
I gotcha. So it should have been training travel.
well, I mean, ours is split out. I don't know if every department or office splits theirs out, like on two separate lines. But there you go.
Okay, it's 11:10, we're out of our commissioners meeting. We're back in at 11:30 for the Conservation District. Good morning, it's 11:30, we're here with the Columbia Basin Conservation District. Good morning, guys.
Morning.
Morning.
We're ready to go.
Okay, well, thank you so much for having us. I'm Christina Rebellia. I'm the Executive Director of the Columbia Basin Conservation District, and I'm here today with Ron and Dinah. If you'd like to introduce yourselves.
Ron Sawyer, Columbia Basin Conservation District, Director of Environmental Monitoring.
Dinah Rulo, also Columbia Basin Conservation District Director for On-Farm and Urban Conservation.
Great. So we wanted to provide an update. This is our quarterly update to the commissioners on the work that we're doing in the county. And I think I'll go ahead and start with Dinah, if you'd like to share your program updates.
Yeah, I have the on-farm cost share kind of broken out. So this is kind of how we did it in the past. Let me know if you guys want us to present this in a different way. I can walk through it real quick.
Did you print the page 2 for me?
Did you have a page? Oh,
I did.
Print another page. You could wing it for yours. So as you can see on here, I have highlighted both state and federal programs that we've gotten the grants for. So do you want me to give a brief rundown on kind of what each of these grants are and go down the list, or do you just want a summary real quick?
Just depends on how long your update is. If you
It shouldn't be,
yeah,
shouldn't
go
be too
through
long.
each one then.
So alternative manure management is kind of our funding set aside from the state for our dairies. Bonneville Environmental Foundation was a private grant that we received for mobile drip irrigation systems, the Dragon Line. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that, but that's funding specifically for that practice. Irrigation Efficiencies is a state commission for all irrigation efficiencies. We got one there. Natural Resources Inventory is our smaller projects. You can see kind of they max out at 20,000. That is money that we get each year from the commission. Next, we have our RCPPs. We have a to be determined on landowners, but we have 1 million set aside, 450 set aside on 3084 for landowners, and then the public works portions that are connecting to the on-farm, and those are federal grants that we received. Riparian grant programs, kind of self-explanatory, from the state to benefit riparian areas. Sustainable farms and fields is greenhouse gas emissions through the commission. Those are both just planting, so smaller scale. VSP program capital funds, those can be a lot of different things that benefit any of the critical areas that we have highlighted in the VSP program. did pretty well on that one. A lot of pivots in the Quincy area was kind of the theme I was seeing on our awards. VSP upfront funds is something new to this biennium. VSP set aside funds for all districts to have small projects be implemented. And then lastly, a very new one from this year between Department Washington, WDFW, and the commission started the Wildlife Shrub Step Restoration and Resiliency Initiative to help with re-fencing wildlife-friendly fence. And we got 3 pretty large-scale grants on that one too for this year. So we'll be pretty busy this biennium just implementing those projects.
So how does a farmer apply for some of these capital projects or capital funds, like if they wanted to upgrade their sprinkler system?
Yeah. So we just have a general cost share link application where landowners can fill it out. And we just have one big Excel sheet, both for the AFA, the RCPPs, and the state funds. And then myself and my staff will kind of pick through, we see this WISRI, this wildlife friendly fencing opened up. We go down the list on what practices they applied for, and if it fits, and if we can make it fit, we're gonna go ahead and apply for it under those funding. So as soon as you apply with the district, you're on our list, and we'll keep applying funding until you're selected for whatever grant that fits. And we just have to do it that way because there seems to be not a lot of patterns in the commission funding, and it's kind of sporadic at times. So we just have to be ready at any time for when they open it. And the landowners have to be ready too. So they just need to be filling out that application. So I'm aware that they want something, and then we'll try and get them in.
So if a guy has an old 40-year-old circle that's, or a wiper or something that's pretty much wore out, they can apply for a grant?
Yes. Yeah, please send people our way.
I'll do that.
Anything else you want me to touch on?
I think that was good. Yeah, thank you. Ron, would you like to provide an update on your programs?
I would. So as you may or may not recall, the Mosaic Watershed Council started about 6 years ago now. I've been involved with the program for 4 years and I'm currently the chair of the Watershed Council. The initial funding source for that work was rates and charges dedicated by the city of Moses Lake in the amount of somewhere between $50,000 and $55,000 a year. In 2024, you probably recall, we did a big project on Moses Lake that was 3.1 million appropriation that we did phosphorus mitigation, both in the sediment and in the water column. That was followed up last year by the Moses Lake Irrigation District with an additional 500,000 of water column stripping. And if you want any other details about those, be happy to answer that before we move on.
You feel like those helped? I mean, I'm on the water a lot, and I feel like the lake's probably the cleanest it's ever been.
Yes, and that is supported by the data. Gene Welch from Professor Emeritus from University of Washington is doing the data tracking on behalf of Moses Lake Irrigation District, and his report this year reflects exactly what you said. It's the best water quality we've had. It's an expensive way to maintain water quality, obviously, because these are 3 to 5 year fixes for the $3.1 million. It's difficult to try to imagine doing fundraising for that continually. It's not out of the realm of possibility. Moses Lake Irrigation District, I believe, is going to build a fund to do similar work in the future, but it's not happening this year. In addition to that work that we just completed, and we're waiting for the final report on, which we can supply you the next time we get together, contractors working on the final report. We were successful in obtaining about $1.3 million total. Most of that came from Department of Ecology. We're currently operating under 5 grants from them. One that was a plant study on Moses Lake to enumerate the species and the spatial occupation of different type of plants on Moses Lake. So in other words, Moses Lake Irrigation District sprays what most people classify as weeds, but fish consider habitat, and they are limited on how much, they get limited to 1/3 of the plant mass in the lake that can be removed on any given year. So it's very important for them to understand where those plants were, what the plants were, whether they're invasive or whether they're natives. We were able to facilitate that work this last year with a $50,000 grant from Department of Ecology, and we now have all of that mapping. We've supplied to Mosaic Irrigation District, and in cooperation with them, we've developed a brochure so the public, they can hand that out to the public and the public can understand what their constraints are. We also have a cyanobacteria management grant through Department of Ecology that is providing direction for the future of the Watershed Council. There are, 40 years worth of work that was done, literature review on what work was done, what was effective, what wasn't effective. And then our partners will be finalizing that at our next Watershed Council meeting in January. And that'll be turned into Department of Ecology and will function as our ongoing work plan for watershed councils of the future, so that we have a coordinated effort and we don't have spot projects happening here and not lack of coordination. It'll be a more coordinated effort than you've seen in the past, and also a roadmap for future work. There were 3 other grants that we've been operating under. 2023 Department of Ecology non-point. The big takeaway from that one was our project down at Peninsula Park. You may or may not have seen. It's a native garden that was put in that was the first one of its kind, a partnership with the City of Moses Lake, and has prompted a lot of similar work, including a grant that, or an RFP that we're putting in right now to design, Dinah and her crew are to design the downtown
Civic Center, yeah.
You want to tell them about that, Dinah? You're more familiar with that.
Yeah, the City of Moses Lake put out an RFQ for designing the Civic Center and a couple other truly above our pay grade graphic design elements, but the landscape design, we put in a proposal to hopefully try and help with that work and continue that partnership with the City of Moses Lake.
So again, that was kind of started by this project with the Department of Ecology with the demonstration site down at Peninsula. So we're excited that that work is going forward and being accepted by the community. We have a 2024 Department of Ecology non-point grant that, as well as furnishing education and outreach programs in conjunction with Moses Lake Park and Rec, where we go out and set up a microscope and a model of the environment, and we teach the kids about drainage and the return of water to the lake through Brad Mitchell's program, the stormwater program. And then the other component with the microscope, we scoop up bugs basically and let the kids see what's in the water with them. Just a way to get kids engaged with taking ownership of the watershed when they grow up and being more consistent stewards of the environment. That was one component of that. We have a 2024 project for restoration along the Crab Creek Channel. The land site is called Willow Ridge. It's a large acreage, 200 some acres, and there's about 100 acres that we have planted 1,200 willows, red dozier, is that right?
Red osier dogwood.
Red osier dogwood, and other things to filter the contaminants out before the water goes back into Crab Creek, and also provide shade to reduce the water temperature. Those are a couple parameters that Crab Creek is listed for: sedimentation, high temperatures. So we're addressing those with this project. We have a kind of a spin-off of that with the Bureau of Reclamation right now, the old Derringer Dairy out on Road 10 and Stratford Road. We are finalizing an agreement with them to do restoration on that. That'll be another 100 and some acres. And we have a proposal in with Department of Ecology to do 3 more sites starting in 2027. So the work is, like I say, the document that I referred to with the roadmap and the design and the plans going forward. These are all things that are called out in that document, and we're proceeding in a logical way up the Crab Creek Channel to remediate and help water quality.
So is most of the work being done, is it north of Road 10, between Road 10 and Road 12, or?
Do you know where the Goid Seeps area is? So when you're going, like immediately after Road 10, yeah, immediately after Road 10 on the left side starts the Goid Seeps Wildlife Area.
Okay.
And so the project we're doing right now is before Road 10 on the right-hand side. going out Stratford.
Okay.
And then the Derringer Dairy is right at
Right.
the Road 10 and Stratford.
That goes up north.
And then the other projects, there's one clear up at pardon? Brook Lake, yes. Yeah. So kind of starting up at the top and working our way back down also.
And there's a lot of concentration in Lower Crab Creek area, just with NRCS's and WQI with the Lower Crab Creek area and us on Lower Crab Creek, just right before it dumps into the Clumbria River. Has been an area of interest and continues to be.
So we started a new event last year called the Crab Creek Summit, and we held that at the Wanapum Heritage Center and kicked off this idea of restoration along the Crab Creek Channel. And so we're putting all these pieces together through different funding sources, not all Department of Ecology. Also in 2020, for 2027, we have a grant proposal in for a revisit of the Quincy Basin, the water that is underneath our feet, so that the Bureau will know more accurately what water they have stored in the basin and what's available for farm use. We should know before the end of January if we get the funding for that. That'll also have a component where we're going to be tracking phosphorus and other nutrients through the ground, through that same groundwater channel. And of course, we're finishing up the first construction cycle out at West Shore Drive. We've got 5 units in out of 11. The other 6 will be put in early this next spring. So that'll be a total of 11 septic, actually drain fields that were taken out of use and converted to city sewer along the West Shore Drive. So,
Do you anticipate any more out or are going to do the same thing?
pardon me?
Do you anticipate that any more of those people out there are going to do that?
They won't have the opportunity because the county won't allow any road cuts for 10 years.
Oh, that's right.
Brand new road, yeah.
Get it done before that. Okay.
So any questions on anything that I covered?
That was really good without anything in front of you.
We certainly have a lot going on.
Yeah, exactly.
I think I would just add, there's a few large projects that we help support as well, the Odessa Groundwater Replacement Program being one of them. Dinah shared some of the work that we've done there more recently with the Public Works. East Columbia Basin Irrigation District finalized one of the systems this last spring, turned water on for the first time, getting 8,400 acres off of the groundwater. They also broke ground on 2 additional systems this fall and winter. And so construction is it's going really well, it's going quickly, and we're continuing to pursue funding to help support that effort through NRCS. And so hopefully we'll have an opening for additional applications to go in this year. This spring is the hope. We have roughly $56 million from the state of Washington that's been committed to the EL 22.1. And so we'll be looking to leverage that to secure additional funds for that system specifically. So everything is going fairly well with the OGWARP. I know that you had met with the Port of Moses Lake on the W20 project. Really appreciate Commissioner Jones and all your leadership around that project and other water projects and efforts here. We are helping to support that project move forward through the feasibility phase. Commissioner Jones had just asked about our meeting that we attended with the Port of Moses Lake and Quincy Irrigation District. That seemed positive. And so that's continuing to move forward. We have the Sustainable Water Coalition and the Watershed Council that Ron mentioned that we continue to support administratively. Really appreciate Commissioner Jones' participation in the Watershed Council specifically, or the Watershed Coalition, Columbia Basin Sustainable Water Coalition. And really appreciate Jim Anderson Cook and all the work that he's doing. I think we would love to continue to work with the county through Public Works and planning, just to help ensure all the coordination and communication that we can between the city and the county and partners, so that we can do more good work like the septic to sewer conversions early and often, have those conversations happening did participate in the county's comprehensive plan update, interviewed with your consultants on that. Seems like that's a great process that's going forward, getting really good, robust public input. So appreciate the opportunity to contribute to that. And I think just a heads up, we are about 8 years into the 10-year rates and charges that we have, our assessment that we have with the county and the municipalities, including Moses Lake, Quincy, and Warden. And so we'll be coming back to our commissioners, to you, in the next couple of years to ask for that support again, for that assessment. So currently, we receive roughly about $350,000 through assessments across the county, and we'll be looking hopefully at a small increase going forward just to keep up with inflation. But as you've heard from Dinah and Ron, we've just done incredible work with the support of these assessments and have leveraged those investments quite a bit with our cost share and other programs here that we're really proud of. So we'll be coming back in the next year. So we'll be here. Perfect. Are there any questions or anything for myself or for Dinah and Ron that come up? Or any suggestions or anything? We're here.
I'd like to know more about that plan for the water going down to Moses from the canal. I'm assuming it's coming from this canal up here?
Mm-hmm. Yes, from the West Canal down the W20, which is below Ephrata here. It's a lateral that currently exists, and there would be a new canal or spillway that goes from that west or W20 lateral down into the northern arm of Moses Lake, Rocky Ford Arm. And the current proposal is to put 10,000 acre feet of water down that. So that's really going to help not just provide M&I water, municipal and industrial water supply, but hopefully help improve water quality with increased dilution through that Columbia River water coming down the West Canal.
Are there current canals from Drumheller to the east?
No.
There's none.
No, but you're in the right general area. It'd be below Drumheller and,
Right. So where's the nearest? You're gonna run pipes? Is that?
No.
It's actually going to be an open lined canal is our understanding.
Okay. I was just curious because I have a client who called me about selling a piece of property in that area, who also just received water rights from the Department of Ecology. I was thinking there could be a twofold.
Yeah.
Could be good on both sides.
Yeah.
Place to take the canal through and also some water rights to go with it.
That's great.
So.
Yeah, we see multiple benefits with the project for sure, from water quality to the water supply to just operational flexibility for the Bureau and the irrigation districts. I imagine that it's going to open up more opportunities for landowners in the area as well, potentially. And that's all through negotiations. And but I think there's just a huge opportunity, and that's why our district is continuing to kind of support the feasibility of it.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Figure out where that line's gonna go.
We can provide a map of it too, if that's helpful.
Yeah, that'd be helpful.
Okay.
there's 4 proposed routes, and the deciding factor is going to be there is archaeological sites that have to be maintained along that shoreline. So it's kind of where could it go shoehorned in between these features? That's going to determine the actual route.
Just really appreciate all the commissioners' support for that project. I know the port had met with you a couple of weeks ago. And I think we're all pretty excited to move that forward.
I have comments about that, but I'm not gonna say anything.
Okay. Well, we're all ears, so we want to understand and
No, I think
learn
it's
as much
great.
as we
I
can.
just think there hasn't been enough of this thought process years ago. I mean, we did a lot of the canals, which is great, but they dropped the ball on the project. And so here we are, 50, 60 years later, and we're in a situation where we don't have enough water. Had they have done the project then, we wouldn't be in this situation, hopefully, but it is what it is.
Yep.
We appreciate the work you're doing.
Thank you. Likewise.
Questions I have, what are your main goals, focus as far as for state and congressional funding for this year? Are you gonna be more focused on like lake treatment like in the past, or more focused on helping on like
Yeah.
W-20 type stuff, or do you have what is your guys' plan for this year?
I think this legislative session, we're not asking for any funding for the Odessa groundwater replacement program that really came in the last session. So I think we're just trying to kind of hold and maintain, show our legislators our support and kind of what they're getting with their investments. So we don't have any current asks from the state, but looking at congressionally, certainly pursuing funding through NRCS for the Odessa groundwater replacement program. And then I think the W-20 is definitely an emerging interest of pursuing federal dollars, especially for that work, whether it's through the congressional discretionary spending and earmark. It sounds like the port is putting in a funding request for engineering and design support for that. And so we would help advocate for that. But I think those are the big ones are those two projects and just continuing to maintain the funding that we have for that comes through the state commission. But it's really not a big session for our funding. It's, if that makes sense.
Department of Ecology, we've got two $500,000 proposals in.
We're continuing to pursue funding. I'm talking about state legislative appropriations
Yeah,
You're not gonna get it if you don't ask.
Yeah. Oh, we're asking all the time. Clearly, we're doing pretty darn good on those asks. So we're just not advocating for new appropriations, I guess, if that was
Yeah,
the
I was just
question.
kind of curious if there's anything we should be working with you on.
Yeah, I think definitely continued support on the OGWARP and the W-20 and just starting those conversations. So when you're in DC advocating for works of the county, I think that both the OGWARP and the W-20 are certainly priorities that we would have.
Okay.
Anything else? No? Okay.
Wow, we were like the most concise.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for coming.
Thank you so much
Appreciate
for having us.
It's 11:56. We'll go into recess until